Hi everyone, I'm Michael Manrique and I'm one of the Habit Guys. We teach realtors prospecting habits so they finally become top producing agents. And welcome to the Realtor Habits Podcast, where agents don't need more stuff, they need better habits. Before we get into today's episode, I want to let you know this episode is brought to you by our Habit Guys Facebook group. We all want to prospect consistently and be more organized. Well, to do that, you need to think, do, and act like a top producer. Watch us prospect live and teach you every week for free in our Facebook group how to get more expired listings, how to get more FSBOs listings, learn what to say over the phone to not sound salesy, and instead make friends. Watch the highs and lows that come with prospecting and ask questions and get answers in real time. All you have to do is visit us at www.habitguys.com/Facebook. Again, that's habitguys.com/Facebook and learn all the skills top producers use in their day-to-day business. If you know anyone that can gain value from this podcast, please do us a huge favor and share it with them. We're here to help as many realtors as possible, and we appreciate your help to do so. All right, let's get into today's episode. Today's episode is called 3 Tips to Optimize Your Social Media. We have a great interview with Jeff Pfitzer. Jeff Pfitzer is from St. Louis, Missouri, and he's a social media practitioner, content strategist, video hobbyist, a podcast host, and it works in real estate and the mortgage industry. So there's a lot of great lessons here. The biggest thing that you're going to learn is the fundamentals to optimizing your social media effort. So let's get into it. All right. Let's get started. So I want to welcome Jeff Pfitzer with Pfitzer Media to the podcast. Jeff, if you could take just a moment and just explain how you serve the real estate market, how you help realtors become top producing agents.
Yeah, man, guys, thanks for having me. It's good to be doing this with you. We obviously have collaborated multiple times, and it's fun to be on your show this time. So yeah, I'll give you a little quick backdrop on me. I've been in business since 2000. I was a mortgage lender for 24 of those years. I literally just stepped away a month ago from the mortgage industry because the media business is just kind of thriving and taking me to new places. And I've had ownership in multiple real estate franchises throughout the years. And as we were just talking off air, I'm probably getting back into the business because of the opportunities that through a geographic social strategy at the Lake of the Ozarks. And it's just led me down a path of a bunch of things. I have affiliation with Lab Coat Agents. That's kind of a big thing. I host their podcast. Tristan and I, the founder of Lab Coats, have a platform called Drunk on Social where we have a group coaching for real estate agents. And then I spun off Pfitzer Media because a lot of those clients wanted one-on-one. And we just didn't have the capacity in Drunk on Social. So I said, I'm just going to go take it and do it myself. And one thing's kind of led to another. And now I do a lot of one-on-one coaching. We do brand management. I have a content platform where we provide 7 pieces of content every single week for loan officers and real estate agents. And it's not the canned stuff. It's designed to get them in front of the camera. So I'm creating content and giving them instructions, giving them scripts, giving them assets. And so kind of taking the heavy lifting away and the creativity, the process, and helping agents get out of their own way, because everybody, I mean, guys, I can't tell you. I just flew back from Colorado Springs yesterday, and I did a presentation there for a bunch of real estate agents. And before we started, there was an old gal in the room, and she is the typical real estate agent, been around the block, hates social media. She told me when her grandkids come over, she locks up their cell phones and makes them get off their cell phone, and she's so scared to death about identity theft. And by the end of my training, she's like, "You've completely changed my mind." And I said,
did her profile picture, by the way, match the way she looks today, or did she still keep the one she had 20 years ago?
I haven't actually stalked her, but she is. I know this. I know she's a cowgirl. I know this. She's a cowgirl, which is unique, and I'm like, that in and of itself is going to become a brand for you, and awesome. You need to lean into it. But my point is, I'm hearing from so many people, like, we have been sitting on the sidelines as an industry, either A, sitting on the sidelines, or B, doing social all wrong. And that's why we sit where we are today after, post NAR verdict, and all of a sudden this negative publicity. And it's like, we're realizing that the real estate agents are the used car salesmen of 20 years ago. We're the mortgage industry of 20 years ago when they were the villain. Now we're the villain. And it's like, why? Why are we the villain? it's kind of BS, right? And honestly, fellas, I think it's because of social media. We have done such a poor job of marketing our industry. We've done it all wrong, and we've frankly pissed off the world, and now they hate us and they think we're overpaid, and they forgot the reason buyer's agents became a thing in the first place was because they were getting railroaded before buyer's agents were a thing. And now here they are telling us we're screwing them. It's like, anyways, that's a lot to unpack, but that's a lot of what I do now.
No, that's great. And let's just take off there with what you just finished saying. So doing social media wrong. So you have a listener here, and that's such a broad word, right? Like with us, it's people say, oh, habits. Oh, yeah, habits. I get it, but they really don't get it. They're like, yeah, coaching, accountability, fluffy words, right? So now you're the social media expert, and this is what you do, Jeff. So break down what social media done the right way and wrong way that you've seen the top producers do well with and those struggle with in today's market that's just adding to the negative narrative we're seeing out there, that you're seeing out there?
It's a great question. And so let's unpack it with the psychology behind social. And here's my take, and this is what I tell, because I stand in front of real estate groups literally every week, multiple times a week, many times, some virtual, some live. And I tell agents, you're doing it all wrong, but it's not your fault. And here's the reason why it's not your fault. You were taught wrong. It's the coaches in our industry, it's the leaders in our industry who, when social became super relevant, like, oh, we can't ignore this anymore. They took to it and said, we're going to apply traditional prospecting, traditional sales tactics to social media. Nobody stopped and thought to themselves, what is social media? We just inundated it and said, we're going to make it this spamming tool. And that's why people are pissed, because they can't, they go there for social connection. That's the reason social media was designed. Why was Facebook designed? Stay in touch with our friends from college, right? And then, as my kid said, you boomers took it over. And that's what's happened with every.
That's so true. Remember the old days, Jeff, of writing keep in touch on the yearbooks?
That's it. Yep.
That was our generation.
Before
KIT.
social media.
And no one kept in touch, Jeff.
Yes.
Nobody did. Those liars on the back of the picture.
Honestly, I'm the epitome of that. I stayed in touch with no one from high school until Facebook came around, and then all of a sudden I got in touch with people again. That's what so it's social connection. Then it became entertainment, and it's since evolved into people go there to be validated. They go there for emotional elevation, and they go there for education. They don't go there for Monday market updates. They don't care about your new listing, your open house, your just sold. They don't care that you won an award. They don't, that's not why they're there. And not to say you shouldn't sprinkle that stuff in. The problem is our industry has just completely diluted it. And if anybody can give me a better reason why consumers hate real estate agents today, I'm all ears. I'm 100% convinced it's because we've done such a shitty job of marketing that we've just pissed them off. It's like let me use the Mormon boys who go walking around and door knocking during the summer, right? Imagine the Mormon religion growing, and all of a sudden they did it 365 every day. They were at your doorstep. Like, you would get so pissed, like you would start to despise the Mormon religion, right? Oh, wow. And so it's the same thing, and that's what we've done to our audiences, because when people roll over in the morning or go sit on the toilet and open up Instagram, they want to see kitty cats and puppy dogs and cooking.
Yes, Jeff, I want to see cat memes, man. You know cat meme. You know, you're talking my language, Jeff. You know I'm big into the cat meme game.
That's it. And you know what? I know what's on your feed, Andy. I know you get soccer stuff. I guarantee you're getting soccer stuff on your feed. That's what you're there for. And so the other part of it too is we've gotten confused because, the algorithms have become very intuitive. The algorithm learns each human and says, what are you interested in, so I can show you that. Right. So we, as a real estate world, we've been opening up social for the last 5-6 years, seeing real estate. So we just assumed my neighbor also sees real estate. False. They don't see that. And so we just assumed it's just normal. It's okay. And yeah, there's so much cleanup that needs to now happen. It's going to be a steep hill to climb, to be honest with you.
So what are like the top 3 things that you think agents should start if you were just going to say, okay, fundamentally, if you start like one or two or three of these things, you're heading in the right connection or direction of starting to socially connect again to get your audience building for the right reasons?
So actually, good question. The way I break it down is there's three non-negotiables as it relates to your social media. And number one is not what you expect, and it's also the most underrated, underutilized strategy as it relates to social. Because any conference you go to, any social media person you talk to, it always goes back to content. It always goes back to how to get the most views, which it doesn't even matter, right? And so it starts with, first of all, reframing how you look at social, understanding why people are there, but then also recognizing that it's probably the most powerful prospecting tool that has ever existed in the history of mankind. Like, how do real estate agents prospect? We phone call, we text, we email, we door knock, we go out in public, all of which very invasive of someone's time. No one asked for you to call them. Nobody asked for you to text them. Nobody asked for you to email them. That's why we have super high unsubscribe rates. Yeah. And we never stop to think to ourselves, where are people showing up by choice? It's social media. That's where they choose to be. Then let's take it one step farther. What happens when Sally, your neighbor, posts about her cat? The only reason Sally posts about her cat is because she's proud of her cat. She thought it's worth sharing. It's entertaining. She's not selling anything, just like most humans on social. So when you go on there and publicly validate her and tell her that that post was funny, what are you doing? You're smacking her with dopamine. Now, all of a sudden, you're elevating your status in her world versus walking over to the neighbor, knocking on her door to remind her, hey, just wanted to let you know, if you know, I got a little gift for you, and if you ever going to listen, I'm your gal, you know. And so it's like we have this opportunity to hit these people with the good feels, and we're not doing it because we are being consumers like them. And so outreach is number one. And so when I coach agents, I'm like, listen, when you got into the business, your broker probably told you to create a list. All your SOI, your friends and family. And, you know, for most agents that are seasoned, you've got big list, past customers, right? And all these different people that are in your world. Create that list, alphabetize it A to Z, and then take 10 to 20 minutes a day. Go through a chunk of it, A to D, and then E through whatever. And then, you know, you get to Z, rinse and repeat. Just go stalk those. So first of all, go connect them, friend them, follow them, etc. And then go stalk them 10 to 20 minutes a day. It's not going to be time consuming because most humans don't post that much. Don't miss a post. And go down the list, go find them. If they posted about their kitty cat, comment on their kitty cat. If they posted about their kids, if they posted about somebody dying in there, give them some empathy, right? Like whatever it is, just be real, be authentic, top of mind awareness. That's all you're doing. You're owning their mind share. Now, there's a second piece to this. Not only like that in and of itself will change an agent's business. If you just build that into your business tomorrow, outreach to your sphere on social media, you're going to elevate your status in their world. So when you do call them, they're like actually pleased to hear from you, right? Because you've been hitting them with dopamine, you've been hitting them with the good deals. Now, the other side of it is,
and I think Jeff, that goes into something we discussed years ago, where people like an ATM. So many people do withdrawals and don't deposit into relationships, and I think you're depositing into people there, right? That's depositing, and then that phone call doesn't seem like such a withdrawal.
Correct.
Because you won't be insufficient funds because you've liked their commenting, you got that right ratio, right? Like poured into them, they know you're just not there to sell them, type of thing. Is that what you're meaning?
Exactly. That's 100% it. Yeah. And you nailed it. That's a good analogy. I like that. And that's it. But even more so than that. So now let's just use you and I as an example. So Mike, you post about your dog. I comment. That's hilarious. You're gonna first of all notice, probably gonna like my comment, and in many cases comment back. So what are we doing? Now we're training the algorithm. So now the algorithm's recognizing Mike and Jeff must like each other. So guess what's going to happen the next time I post? The odds of it showing up on Mike's feed, exponentially higher. And because understanding the science behind social media, every platform has one primary goal: hold the user on the platform. Mm-hmm. So we as a real estate community, I can scroll through countless real estate agents' feeds and it's just dead. There's no engagement, very little comments, very few likes. And I tell them the algorithm has buried you because you are doing a disservice to their business. Understand they have a business. Their business is to hold the user. So they're going to reward the creator who gets the most engagement because you're doing a service to the platform. So when you're just posting self-serving content and not getting any engagement, that's why you're dead. That's why this isn't working for you. And so you got to understand how to penetrate. And also, I think it's important to say this. We as an industry we're so consumed with fast. Give me the fastest lead. What, Jeff, if I'm going to post on social, what's my ROI? And I'm like, chill out. Like, this is not linear, right? This is going to take time. If you guys said today, I'm going all in on farming a neighborhood, and we're going to send postcards to this neighborhood, but I'm only going to give it 3 months. Anybody who has half a brain is going to be like, don't even waste your time. Like, you're going to have to do this for 2-3 years, right? If you buy leads, you and I, we all know it's going to take 100 to get one maybe interested lead that you have to nurture for 6 to 12 months. There's no quick, easy fix.
Repeat that again, Jeff. Repeat that again for our listeners because we say this all the time. So it's good to hear someone else say it.
On the lead side?
Numbers?
Yeah, I mean, for every 100 leads, you might get a conversation with one. And that one is going to take nurturing of 6 to 12, maybe 18 months. And that's why it does. You guys know this. Like, if I had a nickel for every agent that told me I'm going all in on leads, and then 3 months later it didn't work, I'm out. I'm going all in on farming.
Like 3 days later.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right, though, man.
Yeah. So my point is social is the same thing. Social is the exact same thing. It's a long game. It's free. It's not super time consuming. So, because number one of my non-negotiables is outreach. Outreach is not even time consuming. It's very easy. There's very little effort you have to put in. Number two is now there's the content, because you can just do outreach, but just doing outreach without the content, like going to a gunfight with an 8-chamber gun and only having 4 bullets in the chambers. That's stupid. Why would you do that? You can still get away with it, but that's where the content comes in. Because as the example I gave with Mike, it's like, if I now engage with you and you engage back, all we're doing is simply telling the algorithm, hey, we're buddies. So show each other's content, because the likelihood of us engaging with each other is very high. That's what the algorithm wants to know. And so that's all you have to do. And then the last non-negotiable. So content's number 2. Content's a beast in and of itself. It's why people don't do social, because they get so in their own heads. But the last one's notifications, because if you do number 1 and you do number 2, your notifications are going to light up like a Christmas tree. And now you got to be living there and commenting and communicating and staying in touch with people, because I guess I'll digress for a quick second and just say this. When it comes to your social, and I talk about these strategies, probably the thing you have to do before you even get to that is be more intentional with your social consumption. Most humans use social to mindlessly scroll, and so does most of the people listening to this podcast, and that's your problem. Yep. Don't treat social like cable TV. Treat it like a business mechanism. And if you treat it that way, you will get some return on it. But if you go there and you get, because what happens? What happens when you open up Instagram? It takes you to your feed and it immediately shows Andy soccer. It immediately shows Andy cat memes. Yeah. And all of a sudden he's scrolling and he's lost. And so you have to be
very. A lot of Pedro, by the way. By the way, the Pedro raccoon. Is that your guys' logo, by the way? Were you guys ahead of that?
Yeah, well, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, that Pedro raccoon. Have you seen it? Mm-hmm. With that techno beat, and he's dancing. He's everywhere.
I don't know what the where that even came from, but I've been seeing it because people tag us in it, because our Drunk on Social mascot is correct. Pedro. Yep.
My mom knows the song. It's like a 1980s or 90s old song. Spaniard lady, she sings it, and then it just got remixed into techno, and now there's a raccoon dancing, and he's everywhere.
Awesome.
Yeah. So side note, sorry about that. Keep on going. So yeah,
no, that's good.
In my feed now.
That's
Raccoon's
good. No,
in my feed.
Yeah, you're right. Your phone's listening. No, that's it. It's a good stopping point. I mean, I think I spend more time on this piece of this, which is the psychology and understanding, because we don't stop and think. We just jump straight into creation. And we then get very disappointed when things don't perform, because it's not about virality. if your post goes viral, congratulations, your ego got boosted today, but you're probably not going to do anything with it. And so ultimately, the metrics you're most looking for are shares and saves, and then comments. Notice how views is not even in the mix. Likes not in the mix. Like that's farther down. It doesn't matter. Those are vanity metrics. What I want is to become a resource to my audience so that they want to follow me because I provide them something. And oftentimes it's just entertainment. Oftentimes it's just maybe becoming a local aggregator of what's going on in the community. Maybe it's just simply sharing my life, which makes them feel validated that they are like me. They also enjoy playing pickleball. They also enjoy feeding birds, like stupid stuff like that. I always challenge realtors. Whenever I have a realtor in a room that says, who disagrees with me, I give them this challenge. I say, okay, here's what I want you to do. For the next week, I want you to post twice a day. I want you to post a real estate tip, and I want you to post what you're eating for breakfast. And after that week's over with, I want you to report back to me and tell me which one performed the best. Nobody's taken me up on that because we all know the answer.
Yeah, it's the food.
We all say it's so stupid. Why would you post your breakfast?
People love that. You're right.
People will engage with that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. People engage more with my food photos. You're right. Than anything else. You're right.
We just get annoyed with it, you know. Good.
Yeah. Going back to what you were saying, you already made mention of how people use social media like watching cable, right? So they're not treating it like their business. So then what are some recommendations that you give to allow them to begin to stick to those 10 minutes or those 20 minutes?
Well, I mean, I can't teach somebody discipline. You got to find that from within, right? I can tell you what to do and what you need to do and what you stay away from. And so understanding that you're all guilty of what I described. And so first of all, you just got to recognize that. Recognize, shit, I am guilty of that. I do need to become more disciplined. I do need to become more intentional. And then use the tool correctly. So do the outreach. And then as it relates to content, that's not something you're gonna figure out overnight. And so the best way I describe it is like just start throwing stuff against a wall and see what sticks. And when they then ask, okay, what is that? What are you talking about? The answer is document. Just document your life. The reality is that's why people are there. They want a backstage pass to your life. Now, for many of us, we're going to find those things very quickly. The best way I can answer that is by saying it's already uncomfortable to press play in front of a camera for most of us. So try to make it easier. And by making it easier, talk about the things that you're already passionate about. What would you be doing if real estate and social media didn't exist? For me, I'd still live a healthy lifestyle. For me, I'd still be feeding my birds. For me, I'd still go to Lake of the Ozarks. I'd still play golf. So I just document. Right. And I see and then whatever people engage with the most, that's why, as I was telling you guys off the air, literally right before we jumped on this, I was on my TikTok and I had a lead. Guys, I don't sell real estate yet. I have a person that reached out to me and said, hey, I got a friend who needs to list the lake. Can I send him information? I've fooled you. But that's what the influence can do. And you know, that geo strategy to me is the lowest hanging fruit. But honestly, just document your life. But if you want to lean into becoming the aggregator, you can go follow my channels. It's called Lake of the Ozarks Lifestyle. The location's not going to matter to you. And I don't care if you follow me because you're probably not my target audience anyway. But the reason why you wouldn't follow it, so we're on TikTok's my primary channel, but we repurpose everything. So it's TikTok, YouTube. So we do long form for YouTube, but we also do a lot of shorts. We are on Instagram. We have our following's growing rapidly on Instagram, and we have a Facebook group. So no matter where you're at, you can follow it. And here's why I suggest following it. It's the playbook. It is the playbook for what you should be doing in your community. It's lifestyle content. I share news. Yesterday, I jumped onto I have a news aggregator at the lake. I always jump on their app to see what's in the news. This weekend, there's a harbor hop and there's a car show. Guess what I did? I snipped some pictures. I put it as a green screen and I said, here's what's going on this weekend. Here's some details. They could have got that from Lake Expo. But you know what? I'll probably get more eyeballs on my stuff than Lake Expo gets themselves. I know this because they want to partner with me, because they're recognizing that I'm getting a lot of attention on their content. It's not rocket science.
Is that an example of geo strategy there, like local
Yeah.
local content? That's
Bingo.
what that is. Okay.
That's it. Yeah. It's kind of like documenting. It started for me with, because this was by accident, by the way, fellas. I was on TikTok. I was doing exactly what I preached. I was throwing stuff up against the wall. If you scroll my TikTok 2 years ago, because I started this a little under 2 years ago, I was doing Lake of the Ozarks, golf, family, social tips, video tips. Nothing was performing consistently well except Ozarks. And this one day, it was August of almost 2 years ago, it dawned on me. I'm like, what am I doing? Every time I post about the Ozarks, it gets tens of thousands of views. Everything else, 200. Like, my audience is screaming at me, give us more Lake of the Ozarks. So I just stopped everything. I changed the name of the channel from Jeff Pfitzer to Lake of the Ozarks Lifestyle. And I said, I'm going to commit to 1 year. I'm going to see what happens. Guys, I got my first lead within a month. And I wasn't even posting real estate. I was just testing. Somebody reached out to me on Facebook from TikTok, said, hey, I follow you on TikTok. I love your channel. We're thinking about buying at the lake. Can you tell us your opinion? And I was like, holy shit, this works. And from there, I just ran with it. And then about a year in, actually about a year and a half in, we decided to multiply. And so that's when we started YouTube. I now have over 1,100 subs on YouTube in less than a year. So we're excited about that. We now have 5,000 followers on Instagram in less than a year. And it's all organic, guys. I don't put a dime behind my content. I'm just consistent. It's frequency. And people now look at me as the source at the lake. And I have companies that have hired me. I manage a go-kart track. I manage a short-term rental company. I manage an HVAC company. I'm a real estate company hired me, and I've got several conversations happening because everybody's now like, dude, you're the guy, man. Do this for us. Manage my social. That's where the media company came from. I'm like, gosh, people just keep asking me. And yeah, so it's fun, man. Like I mentioned, I've formally kind of resigned from mortgage industry April 1st. Now that company contracts me to coach their loan officers. So it's a good, it was kind of a good parting package for me. So I'm really still tied with them, but I have no involvement with the day to day. I have no involvement with closing loans anymore. I'm just all about helping loan officers, real estate agents, brokers learn how to do this better. And to be honest with you, I'm come from the Gary V cloth, jab, 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 hook. And to me, it's give, 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 give. And I always tell people, I'm like, listen, you want to hire me, great. I'll take your money and I will help you. But all you got to do is go follow me. I'm putting it out there. And so, just go check it out and go down the rabbit holes, because everything that I produce, it's a great example that I should have shared earlier. I was introduced yesterday in Colorado Springs as an influencer, and I corrected it when I took the stage. I said, actually, influencer is a loose word. I've grown influence. People, I'm a practitioner. I said, the difference between me and most of the people in my industry is that you've got these coaches that are very eloquent speakers that learned social, but if you asked them how to shoot a green screen, they wouldn't know what buttons to push. All they did was pay for an audience, and they hired a media team to make them look cool. I said, I am the example of the guy who's pushing the buttons and living in it every single day to see what works. And that's where I found my niche, because I was going to these conferences and I'm like, watching some of my mentors, like, I love you, but you're a fraud as it relates to social. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You know what I mean? And that's when it dawned on me a few years ago. I'm like, I'm going to be the guy that actually does the work. And I'm going to,
and it's a benchmark that's hard to reach, right? You're like, a lot of people can't reach, they have the resources, the budget to hire companies, where a lot of real estate agents, the majority of listeners right now, and your clients, they don't have that kind of budget.
Yeah, correct.
They have to do it themselves day to day.
Exactly.
And Jeff, you nailed the word listeners. Listen to what Jeff said. A lead came to him, right? And everyone's like, oh man, that looks lucky. He sounds great. It's like, no, but he's been doing this. He used words like, in about a year. Think about how long he's been doing this to be a local area expert in the Ozarks. By the way, is that the same Ozarks of the show that I watch?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay, I want to make sure. My mom and I love that show. Shout out. That's a great show.
Actually, it's not, by the way, just to burst your bubble, that was shot in Georgia, not at the Lake of the Ozarks.
Oh, wait, that's not the Ozarks?
The
Oh,
only
a bubble
shots of the
pop.
Lake of the Ozarks are the drone shots. That's it.
Oh, Mike, we got to put a sound effects of a bubble being popped right now. Bubble pop.
Yeah, yeah, the Lake of the Ozarks is actually more probably Midwest millionaires per capita than anywhere. It is
Oh, wow.
there is
Oh, high end. It's a super high
very
end.
there's like 60-foot yachts floating around on this it's a huge lake, but it's a reservoir. It's a flooded river, and there's boats going 100 miles an hour. It's like offshore racing boats are on the Lake of the Ozarks. It's nuts, man.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
It's fun.
So
Yeah,
guys, it's the launch game.
The show Ozark represented it as backwoods, which there's plenty of that too, but there are you can't buy a house for less than $500,000 anymore, and they're pushing millions all day long at the lake now.
That's so funny. I
In
never
the
would have
middle
thought
of
that.
Missouri,
Yeah.
dude. In the middle of Missouri.
That's what I'm saying. Like, really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
This isn't Miami, man.
I was gonna say, yeah, man. I thought Miami was the only place, but no, there's other places out there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But Jeff, honestly, before I let you talk about how people can stay in contact with you, I just want to highlight to the listener, guys, and Coach Mike. I know you say that all the time with our students is you got to just stay to the process. Stick the process. To be a local area expert is not an overnight process. We teach it. It's called Sphere 250, where you just focus on your sphere. You focus on local events. You focus on connecting vendors. And you're talking the same thing, Jeff, of being that local authority, where you became that in the eyes of other people. You're not even an agent, right? And people are coming to you now because they're seeing you consistently going out there, and they're seeing you as that local authority, as a real estate professional, whatever that may mean in their eyes. But agents, this is not just posting for a month or two and that's it. No, this is something you have to do, even if you're not getting those vanity likes or whatever that is. Stake to the process, show consistency. Will slowly start to pay attention, right? If it's done the right way, and if it's not done the right way, then obviously that's why you would hire someone like Jeff, right?
Yeah.
Hire him or model him. Look at it, right? Like we do with these episodes. We give out so much free content. Same thing. Like you don't have to do our coaching. Just follow what we teach on the podcast. We give out all of our stuff for free. But if you need help, of course, you have to hire a coach to help you out with that process. So, no, I love that.
You know
Jeff.
the word you left out. You know what this is? This is a habit. This is a habit that you've got to build into the cadence of your life. This is what you just have to do, and it's the easiest. It's not easy from a traditional perspective because we don't like change. This is not what we've always done. But you have, again, in the history of our world, you never had the opportunity to market to your client while they sat on the toilet. Now you do. And you're missing the boat. Instead, you're paying thousands of dollars to put your face on a billboard that has zero authenticity and will likely yield nothing. And it's like you have the opportunity the average human American spends 151 minutes a day on social media. They're choosing to be there. Start meeting them there.
Really?
151 minutes a day.
2 hours plus?
Yes. That's average. That's average. So if you're at 30, that means somebody else is spending 300. That's 2023 data. Last year it was 123. It jumped to 151. So 2022 it was 123. 2023 it's 151. I can't wait to see what it is in 2024.
Well, there you have it, guys. Yeah. So Jeff, thank you so much for breaking this down for us. Listeners that want to stay in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
Social.
Can you imagine? You send them. You can send it to my PO box.
Right.
I'll send you a mail.
Yeah, I mean the best places to communicate are probably Instagram. So it's funny. You'll notice if you follow me, TikTok is very Lake of the Ozarks. Instagram's a completely different audience. I do have a Lake of the Ozarks channel, but my Jeff Pfitzer channel on Instagram is very much dedicated to the real estate world. Real estate people love my Instagram, and so I have different content there, and that's the same on Facebook. So it's best to DM me on Facebook or Instagram. Instagram's probably where I spent the most time. You could DM me on any of the platforms and I'll see it. And then I do have a little website. I put it in the chat. It'll be in the show notes. It's a Beacons page. If you go to beacons.ai/Pfitzer Media, you can join my email newsletter and you can basically get a taste of what some of our packages look like. I cater packages to each individual because everybody's needs are different, but that gives you a decent idea. My prices are incredibly affordable. If you ever have hired a local media company videographer, you know how much it costs,
Oh
and
my
when you see
gosh,
what I
it's so
charge,
pricey, Jeff.
it's
Oh my gosh,
ridiculous.
it
And
is,
that's
man.
and that's part of the niche that I've found is like, how can I help you save the money and do some of this yourself? I'll take the heavy lifting, but you're gonna have to press play and use your cell phone to shoot some videos versus somebody following you around. But if you want somebody to follow you around, you're gonna have to pay them a 50 grand salary or more. And so yeah, it's it's a cool resource. So just check it out, and otherwise, just go follow me on social, man. And YouTube. If you go to YouTube, my personal channel, I've vacated. I haven't posted on it in years, Jeff Pfitzer. So don't follow that one. Follow Lake of the Ozarks Lifestyle. Again, it's a playbook. I post one long form a week, and I post a short a day. And it's frequency, guys. It's a habit. We've built it into our cadence, and our YouTube channel is growing. We're having fun, man. It's good stuff.
I love it. Awesome, awesome, Jeff. Hey, well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Jeff.
Yep, fellas. Thanks for having me, man. It's been fun.
All right. So there you have it. What a great interview with Jeff. Again, we want to thank him for joining us for today's podcast. So in closing, here is the missing piece to your business. It's accepting that when you know better, you do not necessarily do better. You do better when you change your habits. Let us help.